What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing amazing. It's Saturday. I want to get back to streaming again. How many people watch me or not watch me? I'm going to stream back to my normal Friday 9 p.m. US Central Time. I know Subedi was here yesterday, which was awesome. And yes, this is happening live. So I see you, my man. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. I want to talk, is AI going to take all of our jobs? I don't know. It's GPT-3 now, 100%. Yes, I love that. Is absolutely true. I mean, GPT-3 for me is let's see, it's Jesus, everything's changing so fast in the AI world that I'm like what the heck, like what is gonna happen, what's going on, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty excited, you know. I just want to talk about it. I want to have fun with everybody on the stream. So if background music too loud, so that was the music in the intro, that's probably super loud. Let me know if the background music now is not too loud. So right now it should be, you know, not too bad. Let me know though. I'd like to make sure that you could hear me better, but I play the music mostly for myself. Now, if you're just jumping in and you want to leave a comment and you're like, oh, I can't leave a comment because I'm not a subscriber. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to make my stream for the people that support me. Of course, anybody could watch it, but people that support the channel are subscribed. I want them, you know, my community, to be able to engage and like participate and communicate. And so you could chat in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Today, we're going to talk about just general, like this idea of AI. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about it as well, because many, like, it depends who you talk to. And let me know in the comments if this is like a question that you heard or people, you know, talk about, or what are your thoughts about it just in general. I'd love to have a discussion, conversation, so definitely let me know in the comments. But for instance, I've heard people say, listen, I just gave up learning to code because there's no point. Obviously, like GPT-3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever comes in the future, like sentient AI, that's going to replace developers, which is, you know, kind of like, you know, that's a crazy thought to have. And, you know, I'm still thinking about it. And the one thing that I'm going to say is that it's not going to happen overnight, 100%. And number two, it's like we have a choice to decide what we're going to learn and what we're going to do. And B6, I'm going to call you Subedi because I don't know which name I'm pronouncing better, but I apologize again. You know what? All the crypto bots have become prompt expert now. Yeah. And thanks. The background music is good now. Perfect. So yeah, like, here's the thing. Like, I still will say being involved in the tech industry and learning to code, even today from the very beginning, is not a waste of time. Yes, maybe the layout will change. And I do have, obviously, my thoughts on it. And you know, I'm a pessimist at heart, but I'm also like optimistic at the same time. So I try to be like realistic of my expectations. But, you know, I think AI is here, is, you know, definitely to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's not going backwards. I'm curious to see the legislation around it, like what's going to happen. Like, you see all the things that are happening in the field of like AI and art generation, like who owns that art, what's happening. I'll be curious to know about, like, you know, code generation too. I mean, like, who owns the code? Like, what is going to be chat about it? And I'm also going to talk about like how I personally use AI and give you my opinions and tips. And again, don't be shy. Chat in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Love to engage with you. So for me, like, there's like, everybody says this. They're like, hey, you know, AI is not going to replace developers. AI is going to replace developers that don't know the tools and don't want to use it. And to me, that basically what it comes down to. I read this book a while called The Average is Over, which is basically talks about, you know, how moving forward, this was written like 10 years ago, but basically the message in that book is the people that are going to do well in the future are going to be the people that embrace the AI and work closely together with AI. Now, you don't have to be building those AI models from scratch, but that's some, like, I want to give some food for thought as well on that. But what I want to say is that if you embrace the AI tools, you learn how to be productive with it, you're going to be good. So now interesting thing, I just, one of my friends that I used to train jiu-jitsu with, I had no idea he was a AI researcher, and I got to connect with him because I haven't talked to him in a while. But it's kind of interesting because he will always be relative because he works at a very high level. He literally does the research and he creates the models, which is kind of cool. And then there's going to be like developers that, and it's going to be a spectrum that will implement those models to create cool services. So Sveti's saying is, no, I'm not worried about ChatGPT at all. Think about your corporate. Do you think corporate will immediately fire employees because of some AI? You know, this is like crazy. I see a lot of people like going through layoffs. There's definitely lots of different reasons. But let me start with my first. It's not a hot take. I think this is what's going to happen. So coming back to this book that I read, The Average is Over. And I think what the guy mostly said in the book is going to become true. And the idea is that there's going to be this divide amongst people that are like embrace AI and work with AI, they will have more job opportunities, and people that don't, they're going to be kind of left behind. And so this idea between, you know how you have your, you know, let's say poor, middle class, upper class, super rich, like there's going to be this wedge and a divide, which I'm not sure about, but that's kind of what he said in his book. And so taking a look at it in terms of like development, it's like, what does that mean for entry-level jobs? Is it good? Is it bad? I want to know. And what does it mean for like mid-level jobs? What does it mean for upper jobs? And like if I were to break it down and talk about it, which I will, but I want to make sure to put context around because I don't want to scare anybody off from jumping to depth. I still think any tech field that you jump into is still a good step. And we're going to talk more about it. By the way, I do have this buy me coffee thing. Do you have to ever buy me coffee? No, you don't. Like, definitely don't donate money if you don't have any money to throw away. But if you wanted to find a way to support this channel, because I do this on my free time, and look, I made a total of $12 all time. So it's like, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can help out. Also, I do have a Coding After 30 community, which I'm trying to get back into more. I've been so busy at work, but if you want to participate, all you have to do to get started is you could email me at coding, if I could spell, I can't speak and type at the same time, codingafter30@gmail.com. And just share like a GitHub link so I know you're serious about coding, and I will add you to the community if you like to participate. But anyway, back to the topic. We're talking about our AI going to take our jobs, my 2 cents about it. But let me just quickly jump on this first. Dunya says, it scares me. I just jumped into web dev learning, hope to learn and get a job next year. Yes, you will. And the thing that I want to mention and say is that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it's going to help you to, if you use it responsibly, to either become a better developer or not become a better developer. For instance, if you're using AI just to find answers and you're implementing answers without taking the time understanding the code that it spits out, because most of the time or some of the time or all the time, depending what you ask, it will give you good code or really epically terrible code. And so the idea here is to know that it's a tool, like everybody says, and everybody's, you know, just use it to be responsible. But here's the thing. Imagine like when the iPhone came out, right? And imagine having access in your palm to the internet and all the things you could do. You could order pizza, you could make phone calls, you could watch videos on YouTube, you could do all these crazy things. And now imagine someone who doesn't have an iPhone, like all the things that they're missing out on. And that's basically what AI is going to be. AI is going to be just part of our lives, and we have to basically embrace it, learn it, and figure out how can we use it to augment ourselves to be more productive. And my prediction on jobs, here's me being a little bit pessimistic. I'm not saying there's not going to be developer jobs. And a lot of people give me this example, when there's a big disruption, yes, there's a lot of industries that die, but there's a massive job creation cycle. So the pessimist in me is not going to say like, hey, developer jobs are going to disappear. I'm not saying that. I think there's going to be jobs. I think they're going to change, and we'll talk more about what to do. But my opinion on the topic is there's going to be less jobs created, even though there's going to be jobs created, than jobs that are going to be destroyed. And so if you were to think about it, it's like, what can you do? Well, you could literally hang on to the past and think like, what can I do that AI can't automate? And I'm not saying hang on to the past. Like, I'm just saying like jobs like nursing, jobs like being a personal fitness coach where people want to see you in person. Like I used to teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very successful business, like stuff that's going to be really hard to automate. Not saying that I'm going to do it. Should it not be GPT? Bram, I already been called out. Bogey or Bram, he's one of our community members at Strappy. Amazing dude. He was here last podcast. He's so awesome, always helping me with coding. And I'm going to bug you next week, Bogey. I'm going to bug you. Listen, I'm too slow to adapt. Leo, give me a break. But I'm going to bug you to review my starter and give me some feedback, and let me know things I should fix. But I'll bug you next week. Definitely don't look at it this weekend at all. But I'll bug you this week, and we'll talk more. So the idea is embracing AI tools and using them to your benefit. But the thing that I was going to say, and in the book that I read, The Average is Over, the guy talked about that there's going to be way less jobs, even though there's going to be new jobs created. I feel like the destruction of jobs and the creation of jobs is not going to be like equal. I hope I'm wrong. But with that being said, here's the things that I'm doing. Number one, I'm continuing my journey. Anna, you got to come on stream. We got to set something up. What is going on? Anna is awesome. She's the best. Not because she does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and codes in Python. She's just awesome. And she helped out my friend. By the way, I always talk about how you get hired. Recommendations. I have a friend named Yorgos. I have a friend named Anna. She's saying hello here today. And I was like, Anna, you work at a company. I know a great dude who's just finished boot camp. He's doing Python, React, whatever, everything. I connect them together, and guess what? She talked to her like hiring manager, whoever it was, I don't know. And then she got him into the job, which is pretty awesome. And what's cool is that was all like word of mouth. And this is why I tell people, get out there, get network. And Anna, it will be awesome. Anytime. I know you're busy. And whenever I'm in visiting my family in Connecticut, I'm going to get back, visit Yorgos, and definitely would want to meet up with you. Do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Will be sick. I am trying to get myself back in shape. It's been a journey. Yeah, and Yorgos is the man. We love him. No, he's awesome. I got to talk to him. I've been going through this. I'm not antisocial, but sometimes I get so busy with stuff that like I just sometimes forget to call and connect with people like I should. But anyway, it's awesome to have you here. And anybody who has thoughts about AI, like let me know, give me your opinions. But this is what the book was saying is that there's going to be this divide where there's going to be less jobs for qualified people, which do I agree? Do I not agree? I don't agree. But what am I doing? So 3 things that I'm doing. Number 1, I'm doing things like I would always do. Like, hey, I have my work. I'm learning to code. I'm learning new things. I'm going to continue to do that. Now, the second thing that I started to do, what did I add? Is like, hey, AI is basically just as popular, if not more popular than the iPhone at this point. So it's here to stay. So what can I do to help myself to become better at using AI tools? Now, for instance, I'm not that smart. I'm just going to break it to you. Am I going to become an AI researcher and get that role? No. Can I create my own neural network? No, I can't. But it doesn't mean that I can't start learning things to improve my vocabulary around AI, understand the ecosystem, understand all the tools that are available for developers, regardless what level you're in, and use it to your advantage to be more productive. And so what I started to do is like do what I've been doing before. And number 2, go ahead and start learning tools, start improving things. And this is a great example. And why are you learning C? Which I think everybody should learn C at some point, not as their like first language, unless you're like going through a computer science degree, then you are going to learn C no matter what. It's like part of the curriculum. But I did C a while ago, and I was thinking of going back and doing it because I want to have one lower level language that I know. And Anna's saying she's been using ChatGPT to learn C, but you have to be careful with it because it has flaw. 100%. This is why I tell everybody, like the way you use ChatGPT, you have to just take it like sometimes it's gonna really lie to you. It's like, you know, it's like sometimes you're just like, what are you doing? Like it wrote some code for me using libraries that did not exist. And I was like, oh my God. So you definitely have to question everything. And I'll later talk about how I use ChatGPT-3. But coming back to my point, the idea is that you need to embrace it and you have to start using it, and you have to make it just like, you know, you speak English. Now you like, I speak ChatGPT-3, right? Become better at prompting, learn how to ask better questions, and learn things that are boring. How can you automate them? So like, cause time is something that we could never get back. So if you're doing things that take time where it could be improved by ChatGPT-3 or 4 or 5, whatever the heck we're at now, go ahead and use those tools. And the third thing that I'm doing is I'm constantly trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, like being, how can I either use existing things to create services for customers? And one great example of it, and I'll show you like a project, there's this website, which is pretty neat. It's called Video Tap, and it uses AI in the background to basically you put a link of your video here, and what it'll do, it will convert it to a blog. Now, that is pretty cool. Like, think about all these cool services you could create where all you have to do, you don't have to build the AI stuff from scratch. You just have to have basic understanding, and you combine things together. And so as a developer, I see this, I'm like, this is awesome, this is cool. By the way, I use this tool is pretty awesome. And sometimes it's just worth to pay money for the tool rather than trying to create your own. But as a developer though, I challenge you to go ahead and create your own tool for fun. So what I did, I created a basic Node.js script that basically does the same thing, which is kind of hilarious. So I created this basic script here, which will download a video from YouTube using a URL, and it will convert the video to audio. And then here I'm using two different things from OpenAI. I'm using Whisper, which will allow you to take an audio file and convert it to transcript. So I get this huge transcript. And then I'm using OpenAI text completion, and I'm passing a very basic prompt. There's more you could do, but I'm like, summarize the following text into a blog post with sections and return it in Markdown. And so when I run this script, what it's going to do, it's going to go ahead, download the video. It's going to go ahead, convert it to audio, and then it's going to take that audio file and send it to Whisper. Whisper is going to do its thing, convert it to a transcript, and then it's going to take that transcript and my very bad prompt, and hopefully if this application doesn't crash, which a lot of times things crash for me all the time, it should return Markdown for me of a summary of that video. And here we go. If I take a look at my summary folder, transcription, here's my summary from my YouTube video. So you can start thinking about these type of things, creating little services which allow you to start to kind of engage with AI and learning to build cool things. So am I smart? No. The code that I wrote here, by the way, is bad. I have to refactor it. But the idea is like, don't be shy. Embrace it. Use it. If you haven't smashed the like button, go ahead and smash the like button if you want to. You don't have to. But don't smash it for me. Smash it for all the awesome people in the chat. Let me take a look at the chat. What is your career in cybersecurity? I think it will blow in the future, even with ChatGPT. So here's my thing. The reason why I did not go to cybersecurity, I'll be like really honest to you, because I found it to be harder than doing software engineering. Though maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, maybe it's a personal thing, but I took a bunch of classes in a local community college where you could go and just like take a bunch of classes that you want. So I started with networking and cybersecurity, and I was like, good Lord, this is way too hard for me. And so I switched to software engineering. But I think in my opinion, it's really hard. But what you could do, you could become a developer that also specializes in security. And I think like this is another great question here is finding niches that, or niches, or however you want to say it, in what it is that you do, and try to have like a broad knowledge, but then having like a really focused area, which is very specific, domain specific, which you can't quite use AI to do it completely. You could use it to like help you out, automate certain boring things, help you to do things faster, but you still need to be there. And I think that's the skill that I would say to develop. And that will bring me to our the next thing I want to talk about, like what does this mean to you as a developer, and like what skills should you focus? And I'm not saying these are 100% set in stone. I'm just saying this is something I'm focusing. And if you think there are certain skills that you should learn and participate, let me know in the comments. I'd love to. Shia, what's up? How are you? I'm doing good. I am just been busy at work. So much going on. There's so many companies doing layoffs too, which is kind of scary. I just had a friend. We had layoffs at our company. I had a friend from Indeed. They just like 2,200 people, I think, or no more. Like it was a huge amount of people that got laid off. It's like so scary. And listen, what I'm gonna say, Sveti, masters in cybersecurity this year. No, that's 100%, dude. You're gonna kill it. Like 100%. I'm just not smart enough for that field. I'm just gonna say straight out. To me, like I have to find my niche where I could enjoy what I'm doing, but also feel like I'm not constantly like getting my butt kicked by all the studying. I'm still getting my butt kicked by all the time, but dude, you're gonna be doing great. And guess what? When we have like security questions, you're gonna be the person that we're gonna talk to, right? And so moving forward, what are my thoughts? And again, this is going to be a transitional phase, and I think developers will still be relevant. I talked to a lot of developers, so a lot of people that really say developer jobs will be holy Jesus Christ. Shiam says big giant Accenture announcing 19,000 layoffs, and so the thing here, that is so wild. And this is kind of why, like the thing that I said early in the stream, where I said there's going to be job creations due to the AI, which is going to replace jobs, but it's not going to create more new jobs at not going to happen at the rate that, so there's going to be more job losses than creations. And I hope I'm wrong, but this is kind of like the feeling that I get, because even at my company, we're encouraged to leverage AI to be more productive. And so like I don't mind doing that. This is why I recommend people like really embrace AI, learn the tooling at whatever level capacity that you're able to. If you're really smart and good at math and you want to build your own language models and you want to go that research route, go ahead. I'm not as smart. Like my real focus, this is what the skill I want to develop. Number one, I want to continue to improve my communication, so I'm able to talk well across teams. Like I want to understand development, but I also want to be able to talk to the product, the customer, to be able to better communicate and understand what they're trying to build, so I could myself be able to build it with help of AI. But I don't want to be just the developer part where it's like I don't have any customer facing, because what I think is going to happen, you're going to have this closure where maybe you're going to have less developers that communicate more with the product team to build what they want, and they're just using AI. I mean, communication, soft skills is always important, and it could be like completely crazy. Of course, developing skills where you're understanding all the current tools. I know like GitHub Copilot, like X is coming out. It's going to be crazy. You're like master your VS Code with Copilot, master how to ask good questions. And I'll talk about how I used GPT-3 to help me out, but learn your tools and like understand this idea. Things that you could look up, you don't need to like kind of bog them in your brain, because you could just help GPT-3 or documentation to help you out. But using ChatGPT to learn things that you should know is like really cool. And so basically, kind of like the way I would visualize myself using ChatGPT-3, it's like versus like thinking about how things should be done versus how to do it. For instance, like if I don't know what a for loop is, I mean, everybody should know like what a for loop is, but I'm just using it as a simple example. It's like that like me writing the for loop, I know what a for loop is. I know I need it here. Do I like me physically typing it? Like I don't need to know. Like, so like, I know that it needs to be used. I know there's going to be used. I just need this thing to do that. So through prompting, you're going to be able to generate the code that you don't have to necessarily write yourself from scratch. And at this point, the code it generates sometimes is crazy. So you still have to review it. You still have to make the final edit. But I think that's what you're going to do more. Instead of bugging down yourself with the implementation in terms of how do I physically write this code? Like, how's the for loop work? Let's say you're trying something new. And I was using C as an example. In C, you could just ask GPT-3. Like, you just know you need it. So you're going to, so with that being said, like the skill that you want to develop is this idea of thinking in big pictures of what you want your application to do, what steps you want it to do. And this is where I think writing stuff in pseudocode is kind of cool, because pseudocode before AI was literally you're prompting yourself of the steps you need to take to implement the code. So pseudocode literally is going to be prompting. So literally, I think moving forward, we're going to be writing code in pseudocode, like via prompting, and AI is going to generate that code. We're probably going to review it, edit it, make sure it's like correct. And in the future, it's probably just going to be like perfect all the time. But I still think there's going to be manual editing. So that's another skill, is get better thinking through problems, understanding pseudocode and how to write good pseudocode, and think how you could use it to prompt the AI to help you generate better responses. And this comes to like my final skill is get better. And this is something that I have to work on. Get better at asking good questions, not just from GPT-3, but people you work with, so you're able to improve your critical thinking of being able to think through the problems and stuff like that. And so let me come back to the comments, because I'm babbling on, and love to have your thoughts. And what happened to weekly tips and fail videos? So, hey, good question. I actually am back to the normal schedule. Yesterday, I did my Friday coding fail stream. So those are going to be back Friday nights, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Time. And I'm going to do tips also in this stream. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to do this like podcast more structured, in a way. For instance, like we have the main topic, then I want to talk about what I'm currently building, what I'm reading, what I'm learning, and give you a tip of the week as the final thing for the show. And of course, do Q&A. And the format will change, but I want to have a show for you, which you kind of have an expectation of what to expect. And it's not like, well, what random thing is Paul going to talk about today? So I want to give more structure to the stream. And if you ever want to support, you could of course like, subscribe, whatever. And if for some reason you have a bunch of money lying around and you just don't know what to do with it, you could always buy me coffee, but please don't if you can't. Just don't do it. Like, I just do it as like a tip jar. I'm up to $12, making it big. And if you haven't smashed the like button, by the way, don't be shy, smash the like button. Let them know, all the folks in the comments, how they're doing here, and smash it for them, not for me. I'd love to hear from you. So those are my thoughts on learning AI and learning the tools. And I recently saw, I haven't explored it yet, ChatGPT announced this idea of plugins where you could either use plugins that others made, or you could create your own plugins. I think that's going to be a cool thing as a developer to jump on, and I'm definitely going to research more about it to be able to kind of get into what can I do with AI and what kind of tools can I make? And I think that's going to be good. So whenever I think of personal projects, and I just recently shared a project that I worked on where I'm not really creating the models behind it. I'm using the AI that exists from OpenAI, but I kind of created this service where you could paste, well, I didn't create a service. I created a project where you could paste a YouTube link, and that YouTube link is going to be transcribed and then summarized by ChatGPT, and you're going to get a summary back in Markdown. So if you don't want to watch a whole goddamn video like this one, you could have a short summary of it. But please watch the stream. If you don't have to, like, whatever. And let's see here. Shiam says, after GPT-4, I'm a little bit scared now. But maybe after 5-7 years, I might be replaced. No, I definitely don't think that's going to be a thing. I think the only way, Shiam, that statement is going to be true if you do not use the tools to help augment you as a developer. That's the only way you're going to be replaced. I think what we all have to do, we all have to pivot, and we have to try to identify like, hey, what can I do to stay relevant? And this is like kind of like, you know, like I was thinking about like the ability, this is why I love software engineering, is because you have the ability to pivot. You have the ability to learn something new that's coming out, to stay relative and relevant. And I think that is the secret to making sure you have a job. Sure, like the economy will matter, and, you know, our jobs going to be replaced because of automation, AI? Yes, 100%. That they're going to be less jobs? Probably. But first of all, it's not going to happen like overnight. It's going to be a transition. That transition might happen quickly. But so I'll talk about like content creation too in a second. You asking and bringing up really good points, Jim. But what I want to say is you need to pivot with the times, and you need to move on. And I think if you pivot and you follow not just like YouTubers that hype the AI train or scare you the living bejesus out of you, I would say follow some legitimate like AI researchers just to get like a more of a real truth of what is actually happening, to better clear understand. And there might be limits that we have not yet hit. One thing that I'm going to say, so let me talk about this. And a question here: worldwide or any specific function you heard in Germany you can't fire employees because they yeah, 100%. Like there's lots of companies like that. In US, they literally don't have that. They could fire you whenever the heck they want. But yeah, in Paris, Germany, or in France, they would say they have like good laws. And I think that's the question I want to know, is like, what is the legislation going to be around AI and human rights and having people be employed? I'm kind of curious about it. Also, Shams brings up a great point. Where's the content creation going after 5 years? Everyone will be tools apart from normal search engine like Google. Listen, here's the thing. I created an AI, and I'm saying the tools are going to improve. If you read, even if you ask like, hey, write me an article from AI, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm saying, like if you generate, let me find the video that I created. It's kind of cool, so let me share here, and then I'll give you my thoughts after that. So here's like a channel, like I tried random stuff here for fun. I didn't do anything. So this video right here.
Are you a self-taught software developer looking to create a standout resume?
And I'll share the link if you want to see it. So the script was completely generated by AI, and the video was generated by AI. And if I pay $1,000 to this company, which I didn't, because I think she just way more pleasant than I look, and so I was like, I'll just use this avatar. But you could create a AI avatar of yourself, and you could generate videos. Now, here's the thing here. Number one, it's getting better, and in 5 years, this is going to be amazing. And the one thing that I'm going to say is that people will still know this was completely generated by AI, and I have a feeling that you're going to miss talking to a real human. You're going to miss seeing a human face that you know a real person. So here's the thing. As a human being, like regardless what you believe in, right? And I have feelings. I might have had a bad day, and I might have had an argument with my fiance that led into this huge fight. I went through, like, let's say a divorce that led me on this journey of self-exploration. I traveled to another country. I lived there for 3 months, and I learned this new experience as a human being. And then as me having that filter of that experience, I could create content which is based on my life experiences as a human being. You probably will want to hear like an opinion of another human being that you could to relate to. And so I think machine-generated content, yes, is going to be fun, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be crazy, and some people not going to be able to tell the difference, and we won't be able to tell the difference between one or the other, except the fact that if we know it's generated by AI, we'll be like, well, how much of human input was actually presented? Like, I like making music for fun, right? And I make terrible music, and if you stay long enough for the stream, you will see an outro of a song I sang, but it comes from me, Paul, the human. And I'm not saying like, you know, AI is not going to be able to make better music. AI right now could make better music than I can, but it's going to be this idea of like listen, I want to hear what my friend wants to tell me. So I much rather hear you, Shiam, tell me something versus like me talking to Ava here, my AI generated companion. And I'm not saying there's been like Replica. I used it to see what it is. It's like a chatbot that you could like flirt with, which is hilarious. And people like literally fell in love with it, which is, you can, of course. But to me, at the end of the day, I know it's a machine. I know it's not another person. I can't take her hand or his hand and walk in a park or do cool things like together. And so I think like in terms of content, audio, video, there's going to be this need that's like, is this human generated? I need some human opinions. Like I need some attention. So yeah, and humans aren't that special. That's 100% true in some cases. Or for instance, you yourself and me, myself, think I'm like probably the most special person ever. But in the scheme of the universe, humans aren't that special. That's 100%. But I think like, if you think about it, I feel like, you know, and you know what? I'm looking at the new generation of kids who are glued to their iPhones. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? They're totally going to be raised by AI. They're totally going to have AI friends and companions, and they're totally going to marry AI robots. But for me right now, is just, I want to know like the fact that you gave this opinion, like the first thought I have is like, wow, what kind of life did Trillin lived? You know, like what things that he did, what struggles did he face? AI never struggles. It never has hard times. It never falls in life. It never has to bring themselves up in life. They don't have that experience. So like, to me, I'm gonna, Trillin's like, even like to say that humans aren't that special, that comes from like a place, from your experiences, whatever they were. And to me, that is awesome and amazing. Mate is saying hello, and great to have you here, of course. And so, yeah, blah, 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 blah. What if we combine AI, VR, AR? They'll be crazy. 100%. And these are the ideas you'd have. I play around with VR when I have free time. I'm using C# and Unity, and I would love to figure out how you could take some of the AI and integrate. And this is what I'm saying. Moving forward, learn to use the tools, learn how to integrate them into services that you create them, and learn how to make cool, like I was going to say cool shit, but I'm trying to not swear more or less. Because it's going to just make and improve things for everybody. And so I love to see, and I think that as developers, if you're looking to get started in coding, we're all going to be okay. Just make sure that you have the mindset, the growth mindset, where you're like, hey, the world is changing. Maybe I should change with them, and don't be never adapter or a late adapter. Like, listen, start looking into this stuff now. Like, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm trying to figure out how to use AI to do cool things and stuff like that. No, thanks. Great to have you here as well. And so that was my opinion. So again, I'm moving. I want to, like, a lot of people like ask me, like, do you read books, by the way? Like I read sometimes. A lot of times I, listen to audiobooks. Most of the time I'm reading documentation and reading what GPT-3 or 4 now spits out to me. But if you like to read books, like, are there good programming books that I would recommend? Like, I'm going to just show you the books that I have. I'm not saying you have to get them. I don't even know if books are obsolete, but I think they're a good resource. But one book that I really liked, it's called Code. It's this book right here. And the cool part about this book is literally history of how computers came to be. Like, and it literally starts from this concept of the very beginning. Like, it starts talking about what is binary. It talks about like Braille and binary codes, goes through like the history of how once, you know, that happens, it talks about like, how was a flashlight made? Like, what makes the flashlight work? And it continues through this history, going to like how like logic and like computer switches work, like how's that created. And it talks about like AND gates and OR gates and how circuits were created. And it kind of gives you a really cool, like a history, like outlook of how computers came to be, which is awesome. Subedi, great to have you. Thanks for your support. Love having you here. We'll see you. Can you tell us what kind of plugin you're using in VS Code according to ChatGPT-3? Well, I'm just using Copilot. I got GitHub Copilot, and I signed up for GitHub Copilot X. GitHub Copilot X, which is going to add some additional cool features. So I'll throw this link. You should sign up. It's kind of cool. The thing with a lot of these AI services, because these companies see the value that they provide, I have a feeling like obviously they're going to be, paid products, which is kind of insane. And here's the thing I was going to say. You might like the book, but how you do it? No. But how do it? No. It's about how computers work. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Thanks, Anna. But what I was going to say, a lot of these companies are like, man, AI is powerful. People are going to get a lot of value out of it. Let me charge them a bunch of money for the services. This is why I say definitely follow what's happening in AI and find open source projects and support them, because you want open source AI models that you could use. I've been using Stable Diffusion. I still suck at it, but instead of using Midjourney, what I did, I downloaded the model to my computer. I'm using my weak-ass NVIDIA 360 and running the models on my local computer to generate images. There's a language model that somebody just basically cloned ChatGPT-3, I think. I haven't looked into too much, that you could literally run in the cloud or run on your computer. Some of the stuff running on your local computer could be time consuming, but there are services you could use. But find all these open source projects, support them, because you don't want like 3 or 4 corporations control the AI and decide how much money they should charge for it. But another good book that I really like, and this is like Robert C. Martin, known as Uncle Bob. This is just a classic that I recommend everybody should read. It's called Clean Code. And this is a book that I bought because I was like, this is just OG, really good tips here, really cool. And the same guy also wrote Clean Architecture, right? Really, really cool book as well. And again, do I say you should all read computer books or whatever? The thing with like a lot of computer books, a lot of stuff, if it's just technical stuff, it just goes obsolete. Like, right, I'm not, as you could see, the books that I have here, all the books that I'm going to show you, they are not about how to do a specific thing when like a specific, like I don't have a book on how to do Next.js 12 with the idea that, well, now it's Next 13, so the book on Next 12 is obsolete now. The books that I have, they teach you like general things that are evergreen and applicable. Like another book I have by Anton, it's called Think Like a Programmer. Another cool book because I just wanted to kind of improve my logical thinking. And so it's like books like that, like how to think. I also recently started, like I literally did not give much time to algorithms and data structures outside of the basics, things related to JavaScript, arrays, objects, blah, 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 blah. But now that I've been a developer for a while, I'm trying to get more into understanding some of the like just more topics around it. So I did pick up this book, Algorithms. It's pretty good. I feel like for people like me, it literally looks like cartoony inside. I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, it's like a child's book to help people who are not that smart. Like look at, like it has pictures like this, how to learn algorithms. And so to me, I need things. This is why I love ChatGPT-3, because I asked it, please explain to me like I'm 5, thing that I need to do, which is very helpful and cool. And so what else? Another book that I bought, I didn't start reading this book because I don't think I'm smart enough to get there, but this is my, once I make it past the basics, I got this data structures and algorithms book. It's highly recommended. It's pretty good. It's pretty good by Jay. And another book I got, which is kind of interesting, it's like a really old programming book, and I bought it just because it's like, it's a classic, I feel like. It's called The Pragmatic Programmer. And up to you if you want to get any of these books. And obviously I don't have links to these books because I don't do affiliate marketing, right? The things that I recommend is the things that I like. blah, 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 blah. And so let's let me look at the comments before I move on to my next thing that I wanted to share with you. And yeah, keep the comments going. Love to hear all the things that you say. TechCB, great to have you. Love the cat. I have a cat as well. She's sleeping on the desk and relaxing. She's so sweet. Do you want to all see my kitty? Let me show you my kitty here. I'll use this camera that I have here. Hey, here's my kitty. She's like, what the hell are you doing? You showing me on YouTube? This is crazy. Hello, kitty. Usually she sleeps on my keyboard and breaks stuff. And I am glad she's not on my keyboard right now. Listen, if you're not smashing the like button for my goddamn cat, I got 2 of them. I don't know what, like, what are you doing? You might as well be, I'm just kidding. Don't, like, you don't have to, like, yeah, but let me switch back to my normal view here. Yeah, so cats are awesome. But so do you believe that AI will take over programs? And I already talked about it, but I'll quickly give you, like, the brief things. I think, number one, you hear a lot of people say AI is not going to replace developers. AI is going to replace developers that don't use AI tools to be more productive and better. I also talked about this idea that I believe pessimistically that new jobs created with AI are not going to create more jobs than the jobs that are going to be automated. The second thing that the third thing that I really mentioned is, as developers, we have the way to pivot. And I just saw this message and I was like, oh, I love cats. Gorgeous. I have 5 kitties. Yeah, no, cats are awesome. Dogs, animals in general, awesome. But I was going to say, it's not going to replace you. I think if you're looking to start web development and getting into it, definitely do it and just basically be like, hey, I'm learning how to code, how to be a programmer. And there's spectrum of things and you could learn. And you could literally keep learning things that make you more heavy on literally creating AI models and language models, getting to AI research, not the path that I'm taking. I'm taking the path like I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing as a developer and just learn all the cool tools and learn how to use the tools that exist and learn how to take existing tools and be able to train them to work in a specific domain so I could create services or tools that allow to solve business problems. And so that will not be replaced because you're staying relevant. So if you identify the things that are relevant with the changes that are coming, you're going to stay as developers. And when I ask this question, I work with a lot of developers and I ask, is AI going to replace developers? People that have been developers for a while, they're like, no, it's not. It's going to change how we work, but it's not going to replace us. And people that are new to development, they get freaked out and they're like, oh my God, it's going to replace us. But one thing I'm going to say, I'm a pessimist. It will allow fewer developers to get more things done. That means less jobs. And granted, there'll be other jobs and other things, but I think that's not going to create more jobs that is going to replace. But it doesn't mean that there's not going to be a job for you. So there's plenty of people, like you're just excited about the tech field, you try to get into it. There's going to be a lot of people that are not even going to try this stuff. Like, so if you're learning to code, continue to learn to code, it's going to happen. You're going to be awesome. But that was a great question, Tixie. Fantastic. And lol, my cat on my bed at the moment. Man, smash it. I got to smash the like for my own stream. Love all the cat lovers. Second one, I have a balcony, so she's chilling outside. She's like over there somewhere in the balcony right there. And it's funny. So this is Gracie. Gracie loves to chill on my desk, and Olive is, and yeah, and that's the same. Software engineering and the web development, to me, like I call it the same. To me, like everything I said applies to software engineering. For sure. Like I use like coding, web development, and software engineering interchangeably. To me, like a developer is someone who's learning to code and how to use code to solve problems and continues to learn code to solve more interesting problems. Like for instance, I started as a front-end developer and I'm slowly transitioning to a full stack developer. And you know, I used to build websites. I still build websites, but now I'm like more interested, what kind of cool service can I create to solve a problem? And speaking of services, let me just share that with you. So I want to kind of show, like on the stream, also showcase some of the projects that I'm doing. I already showed this one earlier on the stream, but I'll show again. By the way, I was going to say,
introduction to GitHub Copilot X, great tool, really awesome. Check it out for sure. I think you could sign up for the waiting list. But one thing that I did, as a developer, I'm like, I work in a company where I have to produce content. I have to produce blog posts and videos and on technical stuff. And I'm much better at creating videos than I am at writing. I don't mind writing, but it would be nicer if there was an application that could summarize a video and turn it into a blog post. Now, something like that exists. The thing here about, and this is a really good service, and sometimes it's just way better to pay for something than to create it yourself. But as a developer, I was like, you know what? I write all my blog posts that we're gonna post in Strapi. It's a headless CMS. Why if I just make a plugin that does the same thing in Strapi, that I also have more control with code, that will solve my problem. And so one of the things that I'm building, and right now I'm doing a POC, proof of concept, or just kind of experimenting because I don't know enough about this stuff. But what I've just built is I built a simple script, which is kind of neat. And the code here is garbage. To me, it's like, get it to work and then refactor. But basically what I'm doing, I created this little script that will take a URL from YouTube. It will download the YouTube video and save it to file. Then it's going to take that video and convert it to an audio file. Once that audio file converted to an audio, once that video converted to audio file, it will use OpenAI Whisper. So here I am, I'm embracing this ability to pivot. I'm using AI to help me create things. And so what we'll do is I'm using this service called, I think it's called audio transcribe. What the hell is it called? Let me take a look. I actually have it here. I'll show you. So this is my OpenAI dashboard here. If you go overview, the two services I'm using speech to text to transcribe the audio to text. And then I'm using text completion to transcribe that full transcript and to summarize it into like a blog post. And I need to do better prompting. There's more stuff I could do, but that's kind of like what I built here, or what I'm building, and that's what it does. It basically will take the transcript and it will summarize it. And my prompt here, and I could do better prompting, summarize the following text into a blog post with sections and return markdown. And so when I run this application, what it's going to do, it's going to take and download the video, save it to file. It's going to take that video, convert it to audio, save it to file. Then it's going to take that audio, send it to Whisper AI. Whisper AI is going to do its thing, which is going to do a full transcript of the whole video. And then it's going to take that transcription and summarize it using text completion. And here we have our summary, which is in Markdown. So basically, I created the service that uses OpenAI, and I could create a product around it. I know like Tap It already exists, and I'm not saying I'm going to create a product to compete with a product that exists, because Chris Safdie created, he's a good, he's a cool dude. So I'm not going to like try to go into his space and compete with him, but I am going to create my own tool to use for my personal use case. I also use this tool for certain things as well. Totally great tool I recommend using. But as a developer, that's the cool thing. It's like you could create things to solve your own problems. And let me know in the chat what projects you're building. Love to hear about it. And let's see here. Let me go back to my normal screen, and then I'll show another thing that I'm working on and building. And let's see. Got one question about TS and GS. What, in your opinion, will use in the future more? Oh, good Lord, Jesus Christ. I was like such a slow adapter. I don't, even to this day, I don't want to switch to TypeScript. But TypeScript is here to stay. TypeScript is basically... if you haven't seen my updated Learn to Code roadmap, let me show it to you here. Sign in with Google. No, sign up. No, sign in. Sign in. Sign in with Google. coding after 30. So I'll show you like my update for what board was deleted? No, I didn't delete the board. Come on. I almost freaked out. It took me so long. So this is what I recommend people learn. Like if you want to jump into front-end development, and I'm going to add here AI tooling. AI tooling. That's going to be the next one. AI tooling. If I could only spell. Okay, so what I recommend people learn starting out is HTML, CSS, SAS, JavaScript, React, how to consume APIs, databases, but then right away, once you kind of understand the basics, TypeScript is required. Most of the projects that you now start will prefer you start with TypeScript. So TypeScript, if you haven't started learning TypeScript, start learning TypeScript. Of course, GitHub and Git, Next.js, and AI tooling. That's my roadmap for front-end developers if this is what you want to do and get started. If you'd like to look at this board, I'll share it here for you. Dude, I'm 100%. Cody, go check out Web Dev Cody. I love his channel. Anybody that, like, I love his stuff because he's like me. I'm like, let me give my opinion. Let me do talking head videos. Less code, more opinions. But I like his channel because it's all about the code, of really good nuggets of knowledge, the stuff he does. And I gotta share more of your channels on my your videos on my channel because you do really, really great content. So check him out. And I don't know if he likes me saying this, but I don't have a Discord server. So if you want to join someone's Discord server, go bug Web Dev Cody. Used to be Web Dev Junkie. I'm down to collab. And one discussion I really want to have with you, Cody, is about, we could do like anything you want, but I would like to have a discussion with you around like AI, what you think future of development is, and maybe it would be cool to build something using like AI tools or like whatever. Like that'll be really cool, but I'm down. Let me know. You could message me, like I'm down whenever you're down. That's 100%, but that'll be amazing. And so let's see here. And the last thing, like the last few things I wanted to share is what am I currently working? What am I building? So at my job, or what am I learning first? So I mentioned like TypeScript is like super important. And so I literally started to focus at this point, learning TypeScript. Here's the things I'm focusing on. I'm looking on improving TypeScript. So every new project I start with, I started in TypeScript. You just have to do it. You have like, and the cool thing about TypeScript, you could do things incrementally. So like when I started TypeScript, I just used interfaces like as a thing to make sure like I have my types, like whatever. But there's so many other things you could do, but learning. So Maximilian has like a really good type course. By the way, like, Moshi, YouTube Mashi, I don't know how you spell his name. TypeScript intro. That's like a great video to get. So yeah, this one. TypeScript in 1 hour.
Spectrum
this is a
Business
great video
is the known
to get to check out. And I'm sure Cody, I'm sure you use predominantly TypeScript at work. Especially if you work with Angular. So TypeScript is definitely here to stay for sure. But this is a good one. So I'm learning TypeScript. I'm also learning GitHub Actions because I want to be able to get better at automating things at GitHub, from dealing with issues when someone creates an issue, or just having a workflow for continuous like integration and deployment. So that's something I'm learning. And then another thing that I've started to do at this point is trying to get a little bit better at algorithms. And the one course that I'm doing is, because I do JavaScript, this is like a really good one, is Data Structures and Algorithms with JavaScript. Really, really good course, really well explained. So by the way, I'm already working as a developer and I'm focusing on algorithm data structures now. If you can't build a project, don't worry about data structure algorithms. Like for instance, the thing that I'm building at work right now is building a Next.js and Strapi started. It has a backend build with Strapi. It has a front-end build with Next.js. I'll quickly show you what it looks like. It's still work in progress. it's still happening. And by the way, if you want to learn more on Strapi, you can go to strapi.io. Pretty cool. And if you wanted to kind of see how to customize Strapi and all this other great stuff, or like why is Strapi awesome, I actually did a presentation called Why Strapi is Awesome. If for any reason, if you're curious, I'll throw the link, you could check it out. But Strapi allows you to build a backend literally within 5 minutes, and it's highly customizable. You could do a lot of stuff there that you like. And but back to my topic here, if you're interested in getting started, I'm a big remix person, and I love remix and remix 100%. But people who are starting out in web development, learn React. The thing that you should learn as a framework is Next.js. And a great course is by Scott here, Introduction to Next.js, is really, really, really awesome. But here's the project that I'm building. So I have my content managed by Strapi, and it allows me to like create the layouts, save all my data here, and then I'm using Next.js 13 to create like this blog site. It's still work in progress. You have blog posts, you have like basic pagination that I have here. And then you could go to individual blog. This is like where I'm working. So right now you don't really see it styled nicely and looking good. But this is something that I'm going to work on fixing and improving. So this is not styled yet and looks but ugly. But work in progress. And so what I would say, if you can't build a website from scratch that has like basic CRUD, and you don't have to create your own API, like I'm using Strapi as my backend, which allows you to have authentication and full create, read, update, delete, allows you to create like content types like articles and stuff like that. That's like pretty neat. If you can't build that, don't bother with data structures and algorithms. And so if you look at my roadmap, I don't really talk about it. And once you get to a point where you're starting interviewing, and I deleted that somewhere or hit it, there was like another section here. But once you start interviewing, that's when you start interview prep. That's when you start interview question prep. This is when you start going over data structure algorithms, but only based like the interview that you're going for. Like, don't spend too much time on algorithms and data structures if you can't build anything, because at your work, you're not going to be solving algorithmic questions. You're going to be building things. And if you can't build things, that's really, really going to hurt you. That's what I'm building. And I talked about what I'm learning. And the one tip of the week that I wanted to give today is, how do you all use GPT-3? Like, a lot of times I see people use it in a way where they just ask a question, get the answer, copy and paste it into their code, and that's it. I use it like a little bit different. And so here's an example of my conversation. So here I said, how to save a text file using Node.js. And then it gives me an explanation. You can save using file, FS system, and of course you could go to node.org, I think, and you could look all this up, but it shows an example. And then instead of just like copy and pasting this example, I go ahead, give me more details on how does the FS write file function works. And so I just ask follow-up questions, because I don't want to use this as a solution. I want to use this as a learning platform. So here I am, like in Node.js allows you to create a new file, blah, 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 FS, and it gives you the details, and then it talks about all the parameters it has, all the data, and then also check out the documentation, because sometimes AI hallucinates. I don't know if you knew, but it talks about all the different things. You could pass a callback function. Well, you have to pass a callback function to be able to do something, like if you want to show an error here or do something after the file has been created, you could do it on this callback function. And then I say, hey, explain to me how this code works, right? And what does it do? And this code basically checks if a folder named transcription exists or path. If it doesn't, go ahead, create that folder. And then it shows an example. So I use it as a conversation to help me learn things rather than find solution, if that makes. And I hope that's how you are using ChatGPT-3. But that's all I have for today. Let's open for some Q&A if you have questions or not. And let me know if you haven't smashed the like button. I don't know. Should you smash the like button? I'll leave it up to you. And if you're not a subscriber, You don't have to subscribe either, but if you want to support this channel, subscribe. But let me see, let me know what you thought. Let me know in the comments if you like the stream. Let me know if you like this more organized format where, you know, I have like the main topic. I share with you what I'm currently building, what I'm reading, what I'm learning, and give you a tip of the week. And you could suggest other like kind of topics. I'm going to follow like this format. So this way you have an expectation of what to expect when you jump in. And, you know, I'm going to have this stream weekly. Again, I stream Fridays, 9 p.m. CST time, which is my coding fail stream where I fail hard live coding. So if you want to watch cringe content, someone crying on stream, literally, tune in to the Friday streams. I did one yesterday and I'm going to be back on regular schedule. And then Saturday stream is going to follow this format like I mentioned. And so Anna says, I use ChatGPT-3 to reinforce things I'm studying. So far examples when I learn new concepts, I allow ChatGPT to explain that concept to me. The funny thing, it so often makes mistakes. And 100%, this is where a good point. Take it with a grain of salt. And what I do, everything that ChatGPT-3 does, I try it in code, and then I go to the documentation, I read the documentation. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but I still like the fact that you could have a communication and you could say, hey, you're wrong about this thing. And Mateus says, it's great as always. That's amazing. I'm glad that you are having a good time, AAA. And yeah, and like keep the questions going if you have them. But while I'm waiting for the questions, and I'm going to end this song differently. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you to like, because I've been learning music. So at the end of every stream, I'm going to leave you with some song that I made and got make you be like, oh my gosh, he now thinks he's a music creator. I mean, and I make like really weird music. A lot of people like complain about the type of music. They're like, your music sounds awfully 80s on your channel. Awfully 80s. Oh, Paul, can you send again a link into your podcast? By the way, yeah, I've been, it's not my podcast, but I started doing a podcast with friends of mine. Let me share my screen so you can see it. It's called the Not Null Podcast. The Not Null Podcast here. And you could check it out on Twitter. I always give my 2 cents. It's probably like a stream, like every stream I do, I'm going to embarrass myself. Like what is the silliest thing I could say? You could also find it on Spotify. I've been doing streams with John Smilga, the Power Hour. You could watch the reruns on his channel, Coding Addict, or you could look Web Dev Power Hour on Spotify. He just had a new baby with his family. So with 2 kids, he's like really busy, but I'm looking forward and excited to get back to that. But anyway, thank you for all your support. I don't see too many questions, which is fine. We've been doing a good hour. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you with this song I made. Enjoy, or you could hop out right away. But thank you so much. And this is not the song. I switched to the wrong screen. Here we go. End of show. Enjoy. And I love you all. Have a great rest.